Welcome to another episode of Progress, Potential, and Possibilities, discussions with fascinating people designing a better tomorrow for all of us. I'm your host, Ira Pastor.
Welcome, everybody, again to another episode of our show, bringing you another fascinating guest today who is focused on creating a better tomorrow around the world. We are, as I like to say, we are continuing with our virtual road trip, and today headed back over the Atlantic Ocean, across the Mediterranean to our friends in Saudi, and we will be meeting today with Dr. Lamya Abdul-Aziz AlOmair, who is head of artificial intelligence and bioinformatics at King Abdullah International Medical Research Center. And she's also affiliated faculty member in the Systems Biology Group at George Mason University here in the United States. Dr. AlOmair obtained her master's degree in Health Informatics from King Saud Abdul-Aziz University for Health Sciences, followed that up with her Ph.D. in Bioinformatics and Computational Biology from George Mason University. And in recent years, she has been at the forefront of examining this rapidly evolving field of artificial intelligence with a focus of exploring its current and potential applications in healthcare. She's also been involved in organizing successful artificial intelligence and bioinformatics symposia, ultimately to help increase awareness and ultimately improve skill sets for AI in the next generation of young professionals. Dr. AlOmair is an active supporter and enabler of the fields of AI and big data. She regularly utilizes her exposure to healthcare officials and healthcare projects, both locally and internationally, to promote advancements and implementations. And she's involved in some really exciting research on many fronts. And we are excited and honored to have her with us today. Dr. Lamya Abdul-Aziz AlOmair, thank you so much for taking the time to come on our show.
Thank you for having me here.
It's great to have you. I would really like to start off because, I only read a small part of your bio, but, one of the things I didn't touch on is that very early on in your career, you actually started off in the computer science domain. You were one of the first Saudi women to actually obtain a bachelor's degree in the area, King Saud University. Take a little time to just talk a little bit more about your background, everything from where you grew up, how you developed these interests in STEM, in computer sciences initially, and what got you interested in both informatics and ultimately the area of health AI. I think that'd be a great way to start everything off.
Okay, well, I grew up in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's a bit funny story how I get to this technology and STEM. When I was young, I was maybe a very rare child that loved to go to hospital. I begged my grandmother to take me with her to the hospital. So I find the hospital environment is friendly. Why is that? This is because I was looking, how is the patient they're calling one by one, in what order? And then I was thinking, how is the blood test is taking? How is the result will give us any, protect my grandmother from having sick? What is the medication she's talking? I was analyzing. This is the beginning of my analyzing, data analyzing proceed. So I was maybe 6 or 7 that days. And then after high school, I was thinking about where to go, mathematics, medical school, I don't know. And then the bachelor degree for women, for computer science for women was offered for the first time. So I joined the computer science. I love challenge, and I'm curious about a lot of questions. So I was thinking computer science will answer some of these questions that were in my mind. It was a very nice journey in King Saud University. I finished my undergrad. My favorite subject, though, was applying medicine in computer application. So it brings me back for my thinking about how this information analyzed and how they proceed this information. After I graduate, I was trying to find myself and working in such organization. They have a great IT background that days in the 90s. So I joined National Guard Health Affairs, King Abdulaziz Medical City, as a programmer analyst. And shortly, it was a male-dominant field that days. I was one of 2 females in our department, with great support from our management that days. I managed to get my promotion after 1 year as a senior programmer analyst. I was working with different languages, writing codes for the physicians and different departments so they can have faster decision in this area. In this manner, I can manage all the different departments in the hospital. The medical department, also the HR and the finance and also legal department. So I was all around this department. I was fascinated about the health informatics, and from my hard work, this is bring me to my next chapter in my life, which is the master. I was honored to be the first batch of the Health Informatics in King Saud bin Abdul-Aziz for health science. We were very, maybe 12 students, I mean, female and male. Actually, I choose going to this Health Informatics because I just want to have an infrastructure for all the experience that I got. The health informatics will give me the base that I want to know and build more information, how technology can support these data that we're gathering from these days.
And continuing along, that thought, I remember back, say, about 20 years now after the Human Genome Project, and I remember sort of the word popped on my radar screen of bioinformatics back then. It was specifically sort of connected to genetic data, but since that time, there's just so much more data out there, and I can go through all the omics, from the genomics to the proteome to the transcriptome, all the data that's coming in on our wearables and our cell phones, and we're really awash in data. Talk a little bit, if you would. We've talked about AI on the show a bit. We'll get into that, but talk a little bit about what that data is all about. As you sit there, a specialist in this area now, how do you look at that general sort of ocean of data that's out there? Where do you start with? What's important? What's less important? How do you really prioritize in this era of so much data what you're going to be focusing on in your bioinformatics work?
Oh, nice question. Before we get to this data, I remember in '97 when I just joined the work.
Okay.
There was an interview in a newspaper called a Riyadh newspaper. It's like the New York Times. They're interviewing female in technology. And we were talking about how technology is changing. And I was telling the editor that everyone should learn how to do technology and computer science, because in the future, everyone will be illiterate. This come in the newspaper, and a lot of people around me, they are judging me, because you just graduate from computer science, you think everyone. And now, after all of these years, everyone have a phone, as you mentioned, and everyone have data. So when we talk about data, it was starting long time ago. And you mentioned that ocean, I call it tsunami of data.
Okay.
It's a tsunami of data, and getting the data is easy, but analyzing the data is the bottleneck here. So when we look to the data, we look to different level of data that we have to analyze it in a way that first we have to have the domain people. It's not only one domain can handle it. So when we talk about financial data, we have to have special people in finance. When we talk about healthcare data, we have to have specialists who understand the data plus the data science people.
Mm-hmm.
When we go to even the legal, the legal document, we have a lot of legal document. We can organize it if we have legal and data science people. All of this will accelerate our life, will make our life easier, and our future, because of this podcast talking about the future, is easier. We can get more. I mean, we are losing most of the time to have something at the end. We can have it in half an hour instead of 1 week, if we utilize this data correctly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we get into some of your specific work in the area, I'd like just to segue for a moment to talk a little bit about King Abdullah International Medical Research Center. Last time we visited Saudi, well, virtually visited Saudi. We stopped at KAUST, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and talked a little bit more about agricultural tools. Talk a little bit about KAIMRC. I know you have multiple branches in different parts of the country. It's under this umbrella of National Guard Health Affairs. Walk us through a little bit about sort of the overall system, because it is more than one center.
Yeah, it is more than one. It's started around 2007, because as I mentioned, National Guard have, Ministry of Health and National Guard, they have a lot of data. They really realize that having a hospital, it's not enough to succeed the goals. So they create the university and the research center. It's something like John Hopkins Hospital University. So we are very rare that we have all of the three. KAUST, and when you mention, they have only the university, but we have hospital, we have university, we have research center.
Yep.
So from the hospital data and the hospital expertise and the hospital MDs and the university staff, like student, faculty, we are collaborating to have more productive research, transfer this research, and bridge the gap between the bedside and the innovation side. So we're trying to do this in the research center.
Excellent, excellent. Now, from there, I'd like to. I enjoyed going into your research bibliography of the work that you've been doing along the way, and a lot of it, once again, you've taken these tools, artificial intelligence, you've taken bioinformatics, and you're working on real-world, real-time issues. And I'd just like to focus on a couple of these, if you could talk about them individually. And one, obviously quite recent, entitled Early Prediction of COVID-19 Ventilation Requirements and Mortality from Routinely Collected Baseline Chest Radiographs, Laboratory and Clinical Data with Machine Learning. And this is in the Journal of Multidisciplinary Healthcare. And I think this is a really beautiful, elegant study in terms of you bringing it all together, radiographs, laboratory data, clinical data, and you can't do this all by yourself. You need machine learning. Talk a little bit about how you utilize these tools, specifically during the pandemic.
So, yeah, so as we mentioned from the beginning, the data, if the data is available and Smart Mind is there, we can produce. We have the data, we have the X-ray, we have the data. We just need how to utilize it. And this project specifically, our team, we work in having a machine learning that produce this data. more of these projects is coming all the way. This was just the beginning, and this is what we are trying to achieve, trying to utilize the data that we have, the oil that is, they call the data as the oil. So we're trying to utilize this oil to have more development. At the end, we will have produce some product. This product will have the sustainable income for the country. So this is how we can utilize the AI with the data to the end goal. Not only this project, we are having different projects utilizing the data and the power of in-silico. In-silico is just new for the wet lab. You know, wet lab is giving us a tremendous result. But if it's collaborating with in-silico, this will accelerate the product that we have, accelerate the research, accelerate the product that we need. We don't need only more publication. We need product at the end. Collaboration between in-silico and the wet lab, we can achieve this with a very speed time that we didn't do it in the past. Like the drug discovery, dengue virus, we managed to use the protein structure, which is 3-dimensional protein, run molecular dynamic simulation, which was not being used before in the wet lab. Just run it to see the behavior of the protein and use the neural networking to find which one is having more effect in the structure of protein, so we can find if this location is important or not. Using also the predicted in AI, we can find the specific target for the stop replication of the viruses. So this is why I'm very happy that we can use the technology to support the science.
And speaking of your in-silico work, as we chatted yesterday before the show, one of the other papers that I was very intrigued by was, as you were just saying with dengue, you were using, once again, the in-silico system with the data to look for antiviral compounds against the virus, and you came up interestingly with quercetin, which is a fascinating sort of flavonoid that we've discussed on the show, found in a lot of plant foods and so forth. But as we were discussing, we find these positive uses of these natural compounds. We've learned how quercetin can impact cancer cells and blood sugar and things like that. With the tools of AI, here you go. You find an entirely new use that you never probably put dengue and quercetin together. But talk about how you came up. I think that's just another fascinating example. If you could say a few words about it.
Yeah, I mean. First, you read a lot of literature to understand where you're going. We found that the phosphorylation of the protein is making a change in the structure of protein. We start from the structure of protein, studying the kinases that can affect, studying all of these. So I found out that the sweet potato have a very big effect, especially in the area that affected by dengue. The sweet potato, there is a quercetin, but we don't know where is the quercetin exactly goes. So again, I utilize the in-silico to try to predict where exactly the quercetin is favorable to go, and this location can stop the replication of the virus. We will start doing the wet lab to validate the result soon. But the bigger picture, Ira, is not the big picture that we can, the viruses that are coming in this world, we can quickly, not only sequencing, also study the 3-dimensional, how it's attacked, much faster than before. Again, one of my biggest goals is to raise the awareness of this. I remember when I just joined in the 90s, people was having they don't want to use the computer. They like the paperwork, doctors, and they like the paperwork, but we encourage them. And now you can see all our documents, our information, medical records are there. So why the scientist doesn't have this benefit of learning some tools like the structure of the protein, the sequence? It's easy. If they learn it in the high school, these things, like they learn in Excel and Word, and it will be with them. This is what's that making put us little bit back, all of the science of the whole world. So this should be like, you know, the Microsoft, they have the Word and Excel sheet certificate. One of the things that we're trying to do with George Mason University, they have a certificate of computational biology. It's 5 courses. So we're trying to do something like this, collaborating with them. So at least don't stop, even if you did not study it in your bachelor degree. I mean the lab tech. Okay, have this course. It will benefit at the end. It will benefit you.
What are obviously, you are actively involved in putting these symposia together in Saudi and putting sort of the leading minds together, talking about sort of what's coming. What are some of the other tools that you specifically are most interested in, you know, whether it's 2022 or 2025? And once again, I'm speaking out of my domain here, whether that's edge computing, quantum computing, whatever the tools are that are going to be useful combined with your artificial intelligence that you're most excited about looking out in the coming years.
From my experience, I think utilizing the data by the machine learning, not only in healthcare, and flying cars, and and finance, how they help in the finance, different domain that I'm thinking about, also the transportation, the food, the environment. Now, I was reading a book. It's called "The Future is Faster Than What You Think." The environment, you know, we can use the AI to minimize our expense in the water, especially here in Saudi Arabia. We need the water. So utilizing this to help the environment, and this is what we are doing also here in the government, trying to save the environment, utilizing the AI to minimize the use of the water, try to have more benefit from the sun, to accelerate our ecosystem in this area.
And speaking of ecosystem, as I mentioned, I spent some time virtually at KAUST, spent some time virtually at NEOM up in the north of the country. A lot of really mega moonshot projects going on in Saudi right now. Talk a little bit about biotech innovation ecosystem in general, Saudi Vision 2030, and some of what you would like to see in terms of biotech. Do you want there to be more drug development in the kingdom? Do you want more diagnostic companies? What do you see for the big future of the biotech innovation ecosystem in Saudi?
So when we talk about, again, the data, Vision 2030, when they announced it, it was inspire all of us, because first of all, it's empower the women.
Sure.
In a tremendous way. Women now, nothing can, I mean, women in science especially, and in technology, nothing can stop them. They have a great idea. They are very energetic. This Vision 2030 give us the tools that we can improve what economy can achieve by utilizing the women in different area.
Yep.
This is one. Number two, to develop state-of-art computational AI biomedical research to translate the innovation to product. add to this the science and the biopark, biotechnology park, as we mentioned. The ecosystem will ensure that the direction will go for the best way that we can achieve. When I talk to the ecosystem, I also tell my children that ecosystem, we are all working together.
Yep.
Even if in the small house, we are an ecosystem in the small house. This is how I express it. So I think we are going in the right direction by having a state-of-art translational medicine, more of product that will increase sustainable, not only the healthcare only, it will give us sustainable income for the country. This will help not only Saudi Arabia, it will help the whole population, the whole world, if we continue doing what we're doing right now.
Excellent. And you mentioned you have a great message for women. Want to get into this space. It's a burgeoning area. You talked about your children, and I know that I said at the beginning that you've been very active, not just obviously in doing the AI and bioinformatics stuff, but trying to inspire the next generation. Take a few minutes just to speak to the next generation that may be listening to this show, that are maybe just coming out of their high school education. Say a few words about why this is an area that's hot. They should be looking into it. Stay away from law and all that other boring stuff. Why biotech is so exciting for the future, and why they should get involved in it.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me this. I think the younger generation, especially right now, are distracted by different information. Yep. So I just want to say that. Biotechnology is one of the important field in the future. I want you all to explore your idea about this. Biotechnology is not boring like before. No, there is very exciting information, especially when you're utilizing the AI, the visualization of the viruses, the drug discovery. It's something that you can touch it and you can achieve. So I want them to always think out of the box. When I said what I said in the 97 about the computer, everyone should learn it, because if otherwise, I was thinking out of the box. I know that in the future there will be something else. So my advice to them: always think out of the box. Think how we can create from this information something that no one reached before, something creative. Studying math, science, biophysics is always will encourage your brain to move. When your brain moves, your health will be happy. You will have the adrenaline, and you will be happy also. So just think about it as the future, as you will make different in the future. I'm sure all of you will make different in the future. There is a lot of materials now in the internet, so you can go and read about it. In our time, we don't have these, but now you can go and try to change the future by developing drug, making our life longer. These diseases, try to fight them, Alzheimer and all of this, and cancer. You can do a lot by studying this information. And technology is a tool that we can use it for our advantages, our health, our also entertainment. So it's all everywhere.
Excellent message. One last question. When you are not teaching or researching or inspiring the next generation or setting up the symposia, what does Dr. Lamya Abdul-Aziz AlOmair like to do just to relax and get away from everything? What types of things do you do in your spare time?
The most things I miss in the past 1 year and a half, which is traveling because of the pandemic. I like to travel. I love geography. I know if I know everywhere the content everywhere. I think study the geography is building our sense, because if you sense everyone around you will sense, you will know what will come in the future. So I love traveling. I love reading in science, especially in science. I love to sit with my family, my mom, my sister, my kids. It's the most value things in the life.
Wonderful message. Wonderful message. Well, I said, ever since I originally read about you, I was fascinated by your work and this ecosystem that you're building, and I'm really wishing you and your team the best with the continued development of it in 2022, beyond. For everybody that is going to be listening to this particular episode on our podcast networks or watching on the YouTube channel, you've been listening to Dr. Lamya Abdul-Aziz, AlOmair, Head of Artificial Intelligence and Bioinformatics, King Abdullah International Medical Research Center, also affiliate faculty member, Systems Biology Group, George Mason University. Dr. AlOmair, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to talk with us for a little while about all the exciting things you're doing in Saudi. Thanks for everything that you're doing for the world. And as we say on this show, thanks for helping to create a better tomorrow through everything you're doing. It's a really exciting story.
Thank you very much, Era, and I hope everyone have a better tomorrow and a better future. Thank you.
Great message.